All right, here we go. We got hip hop royalty in the
sir.
building. The legendary Smooth B.
Yes, sir.
From the group Nice and Smooth.
What up, Vlad?
Hey, man, thank you for joining me.
Of course, my brother.
Oh, yeah, long time. Fan.
Yeah, my man. My man, baby.
Of course, man. I remember I used to just run home and watch Yo MTV Raps, like religiously.
Yes.
During that time, during like the late 80s, early 90s, that was just like such a big thing.
Yeah.
As growing up as a hip hop kid, as a breakdancer, like people don't understand how hip hop wasn't everywhere back then.
Right.
It was just a couple very small outlets.
Exactly.
One show on MTV,
right.
1 hour a day, 5 days a week.
Right.
Nothing really on the radio. If you were really a fan, you had to really find it.
Exactly. Yep. You had to know where to look.
Isn't it crazy how big it's gotten since then?
Yo, bananas, man. Huge, dude. I knew it was on its way when I saw a commercial for Fruity Pebbles and they had Fred and Barty was Run DMC. I said, all right, we're on our way.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Well, this is your first time here, so let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
So you grew up in the Bronx?
Yes.
Okay. What was the Bronx back then? What was it like? The 70s?
Oh, okay. Let me tell you. The Bronx back then was like, kind of like Beirut, damn near. You know, a lot of abandoned buildings. There were community centers and stuff, but you know, that was the main thing, trying to get your kids from a parental standpoint. My parents were trying to get me in like the boys club. Like I was a part of the cadet corps. You know, there was different things that they wanted you just had to, you know, and there was a lot of, you know, schools were different, of course, but it was more programs trying to reach the kids because it was hectic, man, you know, and yeah, like if anybody, now we have Google, you look up The Message, that video, The Message by Grandmaster Flash the Furious 5, that's how it looked.
Yeah. Yeah, and then people like forget, because the Bronx is not great these days, but it's not like abandoned buildings, burnt out buildings. Like kids would just be playing in like rubble. And,
we used to be flipping on fucking dirty mattresses. My mom came downstairs, whipped the shit out of me. Like, boy, what are you doing? I'm like, it's like a trampoline. The ghetto trampoline. You know, she was like, boy, I'll beat boy.
Yeah, because remember there was the blackout that happened.
Woo!
You remember that?
Yo, what? I was a little kid. I'm glad you said that. Was amazing. I went with my mom. I lived on Townsend Avenue. People know the Bronx. I lived on Townsend Avenue, and that's like it's like southeast, you know, and it's near the Grand Concourse, Mount Eden. Anyway, my mom took me to the Chinese restaurant. I'll never forget it. And we got some food, and when we came back in the house, all the lights went out. So we just thought it was something, you know, they'll come back on. And then next thing you know, they didn't come back on. And then we just started hearing the streets, all the screaming and all that. I was, what the, you know? And then as everybody started looting and all that, you know.
Yeah.
I
remember I interviewed Clark Kent, DJ Clark Kent. He said that's how he got his first turntables.
Yeah.
Was from the looting.
Yeah.
I'm watching The Get Down right now. Well, what's interesting about The Get Down is in the show, in the Bronx, well, actually New York in general, there was only a couple of DJ crews. But then the riots in New York broke out. Yeah. There was a blackout, and everyone started looting the stores. Yeah. And after that, people had equipment, you know, to be DJs.
Right.
And apparently, you were one of those people.
Wow. Yeah, I was. Around my area in Brooklyn, there was a shop up near Eastern Parkway, and everybody raided into it. And me and one of my friends, I'm not gonna name names, we went and got a DJ set and rolled it all the way home. Because I was already knew how to DJ, but like we knew that the store was being raided, so we just went and joined in, and that was my first set of turntables.
Yeah. The next day when I woke up, I was a kid, I was around 13-ish. And when I got up the next day, I went outside and I saw all the stores ripped up, and then I went to the corner of Mount Eden, and there was this record store, I think it was called Flipside. But anyway, when I saw records outside and all this, you know, and so I just was like, oh shit. So I went there and I snatched up a couple of albums and I came home and I said, Mom, all the stores, you know, they open, people going in and out. She said, for real? So we went downstairs and we bought a shopping cart. We just started going, we went to the liquor store, just getting wine and shit.
You joined in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a kid, were you a fairly good kid? Did you get in trouble with the law?
Well, not necessarily trouble with the law. A little more later in life, but here's my dynamic. I'm the youngest of five, so it was funny. Throughout my childhood. First of all, being the youngest, my mom, she raised all five. All five of us. So her thing was, by the time I came along,
Dad wasn't around?
well, my dad passed away when I was 9.
Oh man,
Yeah,
sorry to hear that.
yeah, he was in a car accident and everything.
Mm.
But so the theme was, my mom said she gonna get it right. I'm gonna get it right with this one. So she was on my head and tried to have me in parochial schools. And so my older brothers, my two oldest, they always had jobs. They from packing bags. My whole family was like hustlers. Hustle to grind, work hard. But I have a set of twin brothers, and their names Richard and Robert. We call them Shake and Blue. And now those two are street legends. And they hustle. They spent half of their life going in and out of jail. So the crazy part about it was the balance was so bugged. My mom was so stern, but I was always writing jail letters. From the time I was in the first grade, I visited every institution. Rikers Island with my mother, Elmira, Sing Sing, all of that. Wherever my brothers were, my mom would take me to visit them. You know what I'm saying? And after a while, it took a toll on me as a kid. Yeah, but I could never wrap my mind around how I was missing my brothers, and we go to this place and I'm talking to them behind a glass or whatever, but they don't come home with me. You know what I'm saying? So after a while, that shit started to depress me. And when after I was like 9, my mom's kept me on the books, and my brothers used to teach me, a lot of good things. But I guess the different trauma, like from my dad passing when I was 9, that's when I started getting a lot of fights in school. You know what I mean? I was usually pretty easy-go-lucky. Those streets was rough, but my brothers was tough dudes. So they used to lean on me, man. Like when I would wake up in the morning, it would be like I was in a fucking scene from Sparta, man. Like my brothers were all like Diesel. So when I wake up, they're working out, and so I'm waking up to this shit, and they would make me give them like 3 push-ups. I'm a kid, 6, 7 years old. Give me 3 push-ups. And I'm like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Or they pick me up. Like I'd get up in the morning and they working out. And we had a chin-up bar. Like the apartments were huge back in the days. You know what I'm saying? So my brothers, they put a chin-up bar in the doorway. Mm-hmm. So one of my brothers was doing chin-ups. Another one doing crunches. My other brother, Charles, he loved watching Jack LaLanne. There was a show called Jack LaLanne. Google it, right? Mm-hmm. So Jack LaLanne used to be on in the morning. He's doing his exercise, So I woke up and it was that kind of shit every day. And, they always provided for me, man. But, different little things made me, get a little hectic. Little pains and painful situations, made me get more, on some street shit.
Well, you started out your music career with Bobby Brown.
Yes.
Okay, so how did you two link up initially?
Oh, man. This is a good one, Vlad. Okay, up until the time before I met Bobby Brown, right? Like I said, I always, from watching Family, I always wanted to do something. I wanted to be something. So I was like, fuck it. And I fell in love with hip hop from young. But, the people that I loved, like the Melly Mel's and the Examples, they were older. So I never felt that I had the voice for it. It was like, Melly Mel. I was a kid, you know what I'm saying? So I had a light pitched voice, but I was gifted. I could write. So long story short, I loved R&B. So they kept me listening to Blue Magic and the Stylistics and all of that. So the early artists used to sing and rap. They'd have routines. So that's what I came up under. All that to say, that's what I started developing, because I said I could sing these songs, and maybe I could put them into jingles and routines, so forth and so on. Now, fast forward, when I got to high school, that's when I really got serious about my pen. That's when, because you have different names, your names evolve. I was D-Ski, I was this, I was that, blah, blah, blah. And then by the time I got to high school, I became Smooth B. I fine. Now, in the 10th, 11th grade, that's when my pen really started getting fluid. All right, fine. I had a childhood friend named DJ Holiday. So Holiday, he was like the second person on our block with turntables, but he lived next door to me, so that was my boy. And so he ended up working with UTFO. He was a roadie for UTFO, and that's how he knew Bobby. Boom. So one day I came around my old neighborhood to visit him, And we were talking, and he called up Mixmaster Ice. Mixmaster Ice came around, and I remember Mixmaster Ice pulls up in his BMW. So I remember saying to myself, yo, wait, he's our age. He around our age, driving BMW with jewelry and shit. This is what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to fuck the hustler. I don't want to do none of that shit. Now I'm a believer. And so he told me, he said, yo, rhyme form, because I had rhyme form before Mixmaster Ice had came around. He was like, this my man Smooth, man, he's dope. And I rhymed for Mixmaster Ice, and Mixmaster Ice said, you dope. Once he gave me that inspiration, I was like, I'm on my way. Now, at that time, I had a job as a messenger. This is all coming into the fold. At that time, I had a job as a messenger. Everybody would say, Smooth, what the fuck are you doing? Because they see me have all types of jobs. You a messenger? But my plan was, I said, I'm going to be a messenger, because I used to read the back of the album covers. And I said, once I could learn where these record labels are, when I make my demo tape, I could drop them off along the way. Okay, now, here's where it ties in. Mixmaster Ice is talking to me. He tells me he used to be a messenger. Now I'm just like, I'm floored. Like, really? I fine. After I meet him, 3 weeks later, dude, 3 weeks tops, I'm going to work, it's raining and shit. I don't even want to go. I keep hearing this shit. Go. So I go. I'm walking, got the rain poncho on and shit. I stops on 7th Avenue. I go in this pizza shop, Famous Ray's. While I'm sitting in there waiting for the rain to slow up, I look out the window and I see Mixmaster Ice. He's standing on the corner of like 51st Street and 7th Avenue. So I come out the pizza shop. I go, yo, Mix. So he looks. I said, it's Smooth. Ironically, he's working with Bobby Brown, and he's waiting for Bobby Brown to come downstairs, and Bobby Brown's staying in the Omni Hotel. Bam. Bobby comes downstairs. He introduces me. He goes, yo, man, this is a dope MC from the Bronx. So I didn't know that they were about to head to the studio. So he goes, this is a dope MC from the Bronx. His name's Smooth B. So Bobby says, well, bring him with us. Like that. So I was like, yo, I can't. I'm on the clock. And he was like, on the clock? What you do? I said, I'm a messenger. So he said, word? I'm a package to the side. All right, fine. He said, well, we staying in the Omni, man. Come through later. I said, all right, bet. Boom, get off work. So when I go to work, check this one out. When I go to work, I tell my supervisor, because my supervisor went to my high school. So he was like 2 years older than me. So he graduated before me, but they used to see me rhyming, and I had my little rhyme crew and all of that. So he was the one, I ran into him, and he was like, I was looking for a job right on 42nd Street. I went to this temp agency. I was trying to look for a job, and I see him. His name is Michael White. And I was like, yo, Mike, what's up? He was like, yo, D, what's up, man? I was chilling. He said, you still doing your music? I said, yeah, man. I said, I'm trying to find a job. He said, you want to be a messenger? I was like, yeah. So he's the one that gave me the job. So when I went back to work, I told him, I said, I met Bobby Brown just now. He said, yeah. I said, yeah, they was going to the studio, but he was like, so why you ain't go? I said, how the fuck am I gonna go, man? I'm on the clock. He was like, yo, they invite you to the fucking studio, go, man. I said, well, I might go tomorrow. So he was like, yo, D, that's your shot. I want to see you win. He said, if they invite you to the studio again, you just call me, let me know, and I'll punch you in as if you were here. Bam. And so that's how it started. The next day, so that night I called him up. Got off work, I went home. So I called Bobby. And he picks up, and I'm like, yo, it's Smooth. And he was like, Smooth. I was like, yo, I met you earlier with Mixmaster Ice. He said, from the Bronx. So I said, yeah. So deep part was, on my way home, I brought me some smoke. I bought some skunk weed. So I'm twisting up my joint, and I don't know them. You know, to me then, they're new edition. So I'm like, they probably don't smoke weed, and this is my shit. So I smoked some weed, put the Visine in my eyes and shit. I said, let me call these dudes. I call him, he pick up the phone, long story short. He's like, yeah, from the Bronx. I said, yeah. He said, where you at? I said, I'm in the Bronx. He said, you coming through? I said, yeah. He said, you could do me a favor? He said, what? He said, you could bring me some weed? I said, bet. So then that was another little step. And then, boom, got down to the hotel. We started kicking it and shit. And I'm sitting there, sitting in the Omni. So when I get there, it's just Bobby and a couple other people. And then Red Alert comes through the door. And I'm like, oh shit, Red Alert. I'm sitting there. A few minutes later, LL walks through the door. Now, LL is heavy. He in his splendor. He got the jewels on and shit. I'm like, oh shit, LL. So I'm sitting there. I'm just being cool, And the next thing you know, Mixmaster Ice comes in. So when Mixmaster comes through the door, I feel more comfortable because at least I know him. So I'm like, yo, what up, Mix? He's like, oh, Smooth, you made it. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, did you rhyme for him? I was like, nah. So he's like, rhyme. So Bobby had this big ass box, And he had all these, well, it wasn't 40s out yet. It was quartz. He had quarter OE. I said, oh, he a real one. So I started rhyming, so forth and so on. He heard me rhyming. Like after about 3 rhymes, LL and, Red, they was just chilling, checking me out. I got into my 3rd, 4th rhyme. They started smiling. I said, oh, yeah, they digging me. I started spitting, going, turn it up. And then Bobby pulled me to the side. He said, you got a producer? Back then, I didn't even know what the fuck a producer did. I was like, no, I don't have no producer. She's like, I'm going to be your producer. You know what I'm saying? So after that, boom, 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 I ended up going in the studio with him. I wrote all on the first album, his first album, every rap on the first album I wrote. And then that's my brother. So we became comrades, man. I went on the road with him. I ended up being a background singer for him. When he started the Don't Be Cruel album, the Gumby haircut, that was my idea. You know what I'm saying? I took him to get the Gumby and all of that, man. And I traveled around the world with him, man. I saw a lot of shit, And yeah.
Well, the first album, Bobby Brown's first album, King of the Stage.
Yes.
Did okay.
Yeah.
But Don't Be Cruel.
Yeah.
Went 7 times platinum.
Yeah.
7 times platinum.
Yeah.
That's like My Prerogative. And
yeah.
of course, Don't Be Cruel and Every Little Step I Make and all that.
All that.
You wrote on that album too?
Well, that album, I only got a chance to write on My Prerogative.
Okay.
So I wrote the bridge on My Prerogative, that the part. Don't get me wrong, I'm really not suit. Ego trips is not my thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got a piece of that.
Yeah. Too bad you didn't get more on that.
Woo! You feel me?
I know.
And see, at that time, that's when I put a lot of folk. That's when I was forming Nice and Smooth.